Hello and welcome to the show. Now, last night on the show you saw Shannon Micheal and something interesting was going on and they were talking to us about perfect partners and matchmaking. Over the globe, last couple of days, Ashley Madison is the name that you're hearing. The debacle overseas, the credit card, fraud, the issues of infidelity has come under the spotlight, and that's what we're going to talk about. Shannon Micheal, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thanks, Faizal.
Now, I want to start with saying something. When I saw this issue of Ashley Madison going out there, I thought it was some kind of star or something that people were talking about until I decided to look at what's really going. It sounds very starish. And then I saw that there was a group of people around the world, about 40 million of them,
40 million
registered
people
on a website that says and alludes to the idea that having an affair was fine and going via the website and doing that was fine. Somebody comes along like a hacker and says, I'm going to expose all of this, credit card details, information, all kinds of things. First thing that I thought was, you know what, good for you guys. I'm not in tune with people that likes being, that just likes having affairs and doing the wrong thing. I think that we have relationships and we need to be honorable. I'm not sure if Mike agrees with me, I'm not sure if you agree with me, but you sit on another side of the page. You want to tell me a bit about that?
Well, I'm not the moral Gestapo, and I believe that people can be unhappy in their marriage. Then they should get out. Why do they stay in the marriage? For the wrong reasons. Everybody does deserve love. That is the point.
Shannon, direct question at this point. So you believe, are you actually then saying that whatever happened outside in the world with regards to the Ashley Madison matter, it's fine that it happened to those guys? Are you saying that?
Well, I'm saying that if you do something wrong, it's your karma, it's going to come back to bite you. Cheating and lying is wicked, and it's hurting people. It's hurting the spouse sitting at home, and the children, the parents, even the friendship circle. Look, people fall in love at the office unbeknowingly. They don't mean to fall in love, and then they have an affair. That is a fate that has befallen them, and it's very difficult to deal with, an emotional tsunami. But when you go on a site with a purpose to hunt a person down, to have an affair with, there is evil intent, and I think that is very wicked.
Shannon, just to hold you there. Mike, before we started the show, I know that you were saying that who are we to judge? When we asked you about this, you said, who are we to judge? What's your thoughts about that?
To come back to what you said, I think the concept of what you sow, you shall reap. So whatever is happening out there is happening out there. It's very difficult to sit here and moralize and judge. It's easy and everybody's doing it. But as you can't, the first person, I need to find that saying, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. And before you judge and moralize, you really got to look at yourself and your own heart and say, well, are you pure in all aspects of your life?
Let me rephrase that for you. What I'm asking you is, do you have any sympathy on any of the victims that were registered on Ashley Madison and their details got exposed? Do you have any sympathy for them, yes or no?
For the people themselves, I have no sympathy at all. I have very, very deep empathy for the people that are affected by it. The fallout zone, the spouses, the children, that I have very deep empathy.
You might be talking about 40 million families.
Yeah.
We know that.
For that I have empathy, absolutely. But go back and ask the question, why did the people register on the site in the first place? Shannon said, to have an affair, to look for something else. Why do people do that?
Is Ashley Madison not known for, like you guys from Perfect Partners are there to make sure that you service a need, and that's to match people on a very on a different basis, and that's on an honorable basis.
Well,
Ashley Madison talks about affairs, and so that's concerning to me.
Well, first of all, we have to define the sexual need of the human race. We can't deny that. So people are going looking for sexual adventures. They are not thinking of long-term consequences. When you are going to a matchmaker and looking for a soulmate, you're looking for a life partner, hoping that you don't end up on Ashley Madison.
And I think, sorry Shannon, to interrupt, I think that's just really important first to define maybe for the viewers, the difference between what Ashley Madison is and what Perfect Partners is.
I think let's get into that, because I know that many South Africans watching the show right now is probably thinking to themselves, I had some type of intention, or I do belong to an organization like Perfect Partners, or I plan to, but now look what's happened. All those people's details around the world. So I think we need to just be able to divorce the two. So if Shannon, if you can give me an idea, what is the critical and crucial difference between the two?
First of all, we have a written confidentiality policy. We introduce people in a very discreet way. They will not identify each other unless they themselves reveal their absolute identity. People can even have a nickname. We've got some of the most prominent people in the country on our books, but they want to be downplayed as ordinary people. I've got ordinary Mr. and Mrs. Joe Soap who want to be just who they are. We also recruit properly, recruitment to the nth degree. People are properly interviewed. We actually establish a bond, a working bond, an emotional bond with each and every one of our members. I have a good team of people working for me. We all have some background in social sciences. We understand the human race. And best of all, I'll leave it to Mike to explain that my database is offline.
So let's take in on that.
I think that's the issue. People
Yeah.
are talking about internet security.
They are very safe with
Yes,
me.
but I'm not referring to the aspect of that sort of you want to hide your details and it needs to be secured because you are maybe doing the wrong thing. You cannot be doing the wrong thing with Perfect Partners.
No.
That's what I'm trying to determine.
May I,
Yes.
sorry, I might just interrupt there. A lot of people think that there is a shadow cast on them because they've come to a matchmaker because they are useless at attracting the opposite sex. And it actually is totally the opposite today. It's because people are fussy about who they allow into their sacred space, as I said before. They want to know the credentials of the people that they're going to share heart and hearth and home with. And they are coming to a professional matchmaker to be introduced to people that have the like-mindedness of a monogamous long-term relationship. For what it is worth, because there are no guarantees in life. People die, people fall in love, people fall out of love. But work at it daily, and that's why I'm a life coach, because I get people to empower themselves with what their goals are and to keep their fires burning in their marriage. It's not just about sexual attraction, off we go, we get married and that's it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mike, the issue of the online security, that seems to be the pivotal point for many people. The fact that some are saying that, and I stand under correction, but looking at some of the research over the weekend, we noticed that people are saying that the way that Ashley Madison was secured in terms of internet security, it was sort of non-existent. Now that might not be true, that might be true. But that's a big question on South Africans' minds at the moment. How secure am I getting involved with someone like Perfect Partners? Although we now established that the focus is different, but anyone putting the information within this sphere of operation would want to know.
Let's clarify this quickly for all the viewers. So Ashley Madison and other sites like that are online dating sites. So people go online, raise the details, and find other people and interact with each other. With Perfect Partners, what they approach us, their details are captured on an offline database. There is a mediator, a matchmaker, in this case Shannon, who takes information and matches the information up and then talks to 2 or 3 different people about a connection.
So this is not going online,
No.
and you see this mouse going and clicks
No.
on picture 1, 2, 3. Oh, that one looks great. Let me choose that one.
Nope.
And can you release that one's information to
I'll
me?
give you.
That's what they're doing abroad.
Sorry,
Yes, that's what they're doing there.
I need to tell you what I did. I joined the most popular online dating site in South Africa a couple of years ago. I joined as a man of 50. I joined as a woman of 34.
Shannon, we didn't know that about you, but
I joined.
it's things you don't know about Mike.
I joined as a woman of 48.
Yes.
Under pseudonyms. I was allowed on. I used different email addresses. I was testing the security. And I had approximately 1,500 hits on all 3 of my profiles.
That doesn't even exist.
That doesn't even exist. In the first week, I had them from totally mismatched people, from black people, colored people, Indian people, white people, Jewish people, Christian people, Muslim people. There was absolutely...
But what does that actually tell you?
That was telling me they were looking at my face and had absolutely no interest in me as a human being whatsoever.
Of course, but then there was some sexual drive to that.
That's
It could
what
not
it's
have
all
been
about.
a life partner or
Sorry,
someone that you take
sorry I
seriously.
interrupted you. Mike is the technology fundi. He can tell you more about
It's
that.
it's important, and it's not about technology.
I just want to understand this, Mike. You're saying that someone goes in on the site, so you register and you put your details in.
Which site?
Any
on the
dating
perfect
online
partner.
site.
No.
No.
No. So what happens on your site?
There is no site.
There is a site.
Yes. There's a
Shannon.
site.
There is a website.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a
All right.
website,
But this is
but
not,
there's no database.
But it's not an online service.
No.
And I think that's the defining line. The other one is an online service.
Yes.
Am I
Correct.
Okay.
Where you go and shop. It's like Kalahari.com.
Correct,
You
yes.
go and shop.
Put the person in your car, check out and go.
Correct.
Right.
There
And
you
that's
go.
not happening.
That's
Right.
exactly what online dating is. No, we interview people, we open files on them. These files are in a completely different cabinet. And when we take out a person's file once a week, we then look at all the possibilities in the area, age range, and then about 50 other pointers that we say, okay, all of this is fine. Here is a little bit of a not good match, which we point out to the couple. This is not quite in your criteria, but it's for consideration because you're only networking.
Something that you can work on.
Something you can work on, but the potential is you asked for somebody A, B, C, D, like this, like that. We are offering you, here are authentic photographs. Here is the person's last word about them as why they're a value add. Here's our personal reference on you. And if you want to phone me and say, well, I need to know a little bit more about those 9 children and 40 cats, then we can talk about it. Okay?
No, of course.
So there is a human broker,
In between.
like it was
That's
6,000
it.
years ago.
Correct, yes. Mike, another technical question there. So people are talking about credit card and credit card security. Where do you guys fit into that realm? Are payments made directly into your accounts or
EFT
So there's no
only.
credit card
No,
information
we
at the
stopped
moment?
credit cards about 3 years ago because of the fraud and the vulnerability out there. And even if people want to pay by credit card, they simply go to the bank and they instruct the bank to pay us off their credit card on a budget.
So message from perfect partners at this stage is that you're not the same, number one.
Yes.
Number two, there is no credit card transaction, so
No.
you're safe on a financial level. Number three, there is no database online that keeps your information, so you're not an Ashley
Exactly.
Madison by all spheres.
No. Even one step further, they pay me in my personal capacity, not in my company name. So if they have bookkeepers, children, whatever, nobody in their closest circle will see an invoice and a payment to Perfect Partners. It is actually a tax deductible charge because I'm a date coach. People are joining me for life coaching. So it's highly, highly confidential.
Mike, if you had the opportunity of sitting with the directors of Ashley Madison right now, what is it that you tell them?
Oops.
Okay, let's say we've given you 5 minutes to tell them something. What is it that you think? Where is it that they went wrong? And why?
Internet security, internet security, internet security. And you know, Ashley Madison is topical, but guys, the Pentagon has been hacked, NASA has been hacked, everybody's been hacked, banks are being hacked, everything. Internet security is a big business.
We get that, but just understand something. If your bank account is hacked, your family's going to be a bit upset, yes. And we're going to talk about that, and the bank's going to come and say, I'll refund somewhere. I'm not going to. Just depends what's going on. But now we're not talking about bank accounts. We are talking about people's lives, and that's something else.
And who made that decision to put that information on there? The golden rule of internet security, do not put anything on the internet you wouldn't want the person next to you to see.
Do you think that would stand up? Because we know that there is issues now of class action suits is going up. I think they're about 30 or 400 million or something like that of class action. Do you think that line will actually stand up at this point?
At the end of the day, if the agreement was, Ashley Madison says, look, the service they provide is neither here nor there. The question is, there was an agreement. We will keep your information safe. Give us information, you can do what you want. That was breached. So that leaves themselves open to class action, legal action, moral judgment. It's all open. The question is, and for me, we were speaking earlier on about the judgment thing. Why did the people sign up to Ashley Madison in the first place? Why are 40 million people worldwide on an internet dating site whose main thrust is, let's get together and have sex?
Do you not think that's a battle between two things? One is that here's a guy, for example, I'm just giving you a scenario, that might say, you know what, I'm having issues in my marriage, so I decided in that moment of weakness, I'm slipping out and I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And then on the other side, everything is fine at home, but because my expectations are higher than most people, I also decided to venture out a little bit. So I think that there are two types of people going on here. But does it make it right? Does it make it right?
No.
And I want to ask Mike that question, because he feels that he doesn't need to judge people. I'm not saying judge people. Does it make it right, Mike?
In whose eyes? And that's important.
You're doing
in whose eyes?
thing. You're asking me a question.
I'm good at that.
I want you to answer the question. Does it make it right for you to go on there?
In whose eyes? Because I cannot answer the question unless I know in whose eyes we're looking through. So if we're going to go, let's go right to the
Can I
end.
paint a picture for you?
Paint a picture.
Family, wife, kids, sitting at home. Father is on Ashley Madison.
Then
What's your thoughts?
Then the question is, what is right? The fact that he joined or the fact that they were hacked?
That he joined.
For the family, it probably wasn't a great decision that he made. All right? But, and here comes a very big but. What if the fallout from this whole Ashley Madison thing is that relationships around the world get a second chance? What if we turn around, instead of looking at the fallout and saying the bad things, what about the people that get a chance to do it over?
Treat the symptom.
Are you saying that, what if the world looks at this as a whole, saying that we actually have a problem? The fact that 40 million people are sitting on one side means that we as a world have a problem. So are we able to assess the problem and see what the solutions are? I don't think you're going to eradicate infidelity in its entirety, but it's a time that we maybe talk about it.
Well, what causes infidelity? That's a question. I asked earlier, why did that husband then sign up? Why do people sign? And the answer to that one is quite easy. They are unhappy.
The one thing I do know is I looked at the case of one guy that said that his wife died due to cancer, I think 4 or 5 months ago. And so he did not join on the basis of having an affair. He felt that during his grieving process, he was in a dip and he needed to just meet someone to talk to. So there are those cases too.
Hang on a second.
Yes.
Okay.
But he was unhappy.
I have
Correct.
I have a number of widowers 2 to 1 month after the funeral that are joining me to network to make new friends. And they make it very clear that they will find a soulmate when they're ready. And there is no time prediction line here. So they are very welcome if they want to.
You're saying they'll find a soulmate when they're ready? So are they registering with you because
they're registering me? The wife has passed away and they are fresh out of a funeral. They're new on the books. And I've had 30-year-old widowers, men, that have been, the wife was killed in a motor car accident. Or I've had older people who've lost a spouse after 40 years of marriage. And they don't know where to start. And their married friends, unfortunately, seem to separate further and further away from them. So they need to start a whole new singles life. And that means making new friends. Who do they make friends with? Not the neighbor, who might be a drunken lout. It's not just anybody down the road. Where do they meet anybody down the road? They go to clubs and they go to book clubs and they go to tennis clubs, whatever. Do they really know the people? No, they don't. But as well, I have people joining me of all ages, all races and all backgrounds who are separated. I've seen divorces take 5 years because properties have had to be sold. Custody rights have had to be battled out. People don't sign documents. Must that person wait 5 years before the divorce order to actually find love again? They are lonely. They've come out of a terrible, traumatic, emotional situation. They also ask permission. Please, can I join? I'm only separated. The divorce case is ongoing. So we then do an emotional evaluation. Are they genuine? Are they really ready to meet a new love? And they give us permission to tell the people we introduce them to that I am only separated. So the person who's walking into this new introduction is aware that the person is not yet divorced, and they have a personal choice to say yes or no. Men and women.
Yeah, of course, we understand that the dynamics are a bit different with what Perfect Partners does and what's happening abroad. Mike, I have another hard question for you there, and that is, if you were one of these people, or rather, what's your message to them? Two guys, I'm going to ask you one, Shannon, and I'll ask you one, Mike. The one for you is the victim. What's your message to the victim? What should they be doing right now?
Who's the victim?
In the Ashley Madison case.
Who's the victim right now?
No, I'm referring to the victim itself, the registered victim. That's it. I put my details on, but I am doing some nonsense at home at the moment, and I am looking for an affair, and my credit card details did get out there, and my name is on a website, and my wife saw my name on the website, for example. What's your message to that guy?
Simple. Made a mistake. All right? Then.
Do you really think it's as simple as that?
Well, how complicated would you like to make it? So let's keep it simple. At the end of the day, own up. You made a mistake. Own your mistake, and then make your next decision. Your next decision is, I'm going to go and fix my mistake, or I'm going to use this as a springboard to separate from the whole thing and move on with my life.
Yeah.
Boom, that's it. You can complicate it with a whole lot of different things. It's always going to be two choices.
I stay or I leave.
I stay or I leave. This is a catalyst to allow them to make that decision. There are 40 million people out there that are faced with a choice. What are they going to do? Continue to cover it up, continue to paper it over, or they're going to go and face it, own up to it, fix it, or move on.
I'm sitting with a number, and I'm not sure if this number has been verified or not, Shannon. People are saying that there's approximately 170,000 people on Ashley Madison in South Africa. That's not been verified. We couldn't put our finger on that information this morning before we recorded the show. But be that as it may, whatever the number is, what's your advice to...
I'm sure that it's pretty close. Carte Blanche ran a program and mentioned Ashley Madison. So did Dr. Eve a couple of weeks ago when we did our first show. And the rumblings started then. And people have been investigating since then. It's not just something that happened in the last week. People have been saying, so something's going on out there. So yes, I think that's even an underestimation.
Well, what's your advice to people that go on sites like Ashley Madison to get registered? We understand that society has a bit of a gap in it, and I don't want to call it a moral gap at this point, because Mike wouldn't want us to judge people, but at the same time, we know the problem is there. So, and I know that you're going to say, why don't you join up with people like Perfect Partners? And I understand that's one option. But what's your advice to them? You don't need to go the Ashley Madison route. What's your advice?
Well, sexual desire, can become an illogical obsession. When desire comes in the door, logic goes out the window. So people who are sexually attracted to one another have lost the plot completely. It's a case of how moral are you? How seriously do you take your marriage vows? Or if that love or that attraction is so deep that you crave that other person, you have to make decisions. But you
How
can't
much hormones you can manufacture?
Yeah, you can't have your cake and eat it. And again, our policy at Perfect Partners is whatever you do should never hurt somebody else. do unto others.
So to sum that up, is it kind of like take responsibility for your life.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, it doesn't really matter. But take responsibility and own. And if there's fallout, well, then own it.
Correct.
And if you're going to, and you find yourself in a position right now that you're at a point in your life where you're unhappy and you are looking for other people, then go to a reputable matchmaker. You're going to go to a dating site. What you mix with is what's going to come across
You see,
your life.
what I can guarantee, is that I get phone calls from men and women every week. I am married and I'm looking for somebody nice on the side, a la Ashley Madison. But I want this to be utterly discreet, and I know that you're discreet. Would you be able to give me that service? And I say, absolutely not. Because my choice is, as a die-hard romantic, a Cupid, I believe in true love. I believe in the path of truth. If you live with truth, your life is transparent. The minute you have shadows, you are bringing bad karma, the law of attraction, you're bringing negativity into your life. So sorry, my dear, you won't be joining perfect partners, but I wish you luck, and as a life coach, I certainly can help you. What is the reason why you are wanting an affair? But even worse than that, never mind the ones who want an affair, the swingers, the husbands and wives that phone me and ask if I can supply a third party for their little husband and wife game.
That's a very new dimension, and I think we're going to have to do a third episode.
That's
on that
absolutely.
one, because that's something
You did
totally
not
different.
see that one coming.
No, of course. Yeah. I know you're swinging in a different direction here on that one, but the point is, it's something that we're going to pick up in the
Yeah.
future. Shannon, Mike, I want to ask you a last question as we end the show, and that's, there's a guy out there, somewhere in South Africa, sitting there at work today, knowing that he registered, and the hacker is spewing out information on a daily basis, and his wife's probably very internet savvy and she's busy checking. But his information did not come out yet. What's your advice to him? Should he inform her before the time? Or should he tell her that he's not on there? Or should he tell her that, you know what, let me rather just come clean, I am on there just in case you find out. Is it better knowing before the time, or is the afterthought better?
Sit there and ask yourself the question, do you want to live a lie? And again, you have a decision. If your answer is you are happy to continue living your life as a lie, take your chances. If you want to change,
that's a big gamble. If it comes out afterwards, you're in 10 times more trouble.
exactly.
You know?
But if you want to change, recognize you made a mistake and change, then make the decision to stop living a lie. Own up. Take responsibility, and I can promise you, life will get better eventually.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Shannon, for coming onto the show. I think it was a good topic. We're going to
Thanks,
pick that up soon. Shannon and Mike from Perfect Partners, my perfect partners on this kind of issue on the show. Ashley Madison's story, as it unfolds, we might get them back in to talk to us how things go down the line. I know there's lawsuits, all kinds of things happening. We'll catch up with them soon. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.